Olsen. I'm founder and CEO of YourVersion.
And we're here with the whole team, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you introduce me to the team?
Okay, cool. Come on in, Pratap.
Come on in.
Pratap just got here. How's it going? Pratap is our toolbar rockstar engineer. He did our Firefox toolbar, which lets you basically take the benefits of YourVersion anywhere on the web. So even if you're off the YourVersion site, you can share via email, Twitter, Facebook. You can bookmark any page, and you can also access your YourVersion bookmarks.
Very cool. Dave
is our rock star. We call him Super Dave. He basically does everything, but he got all of our EC2 servers up and running last week. This is Chris. Chris used to work with me at Intuit. Chris Hasse. He wears many hats. He's the master of QA, basically, cross-browser QA. Right. When he's not doing that, he's doing HR and hiring people, and also some marketing stuff. But he's actually been here full-time the longest with me for over a year now, year and a half. So.
Very cool.
And then Doug is our guru. Doug actually was my PHP professor when I took PHP classes.
Wow. And
after I took a couple classes from him, I twisted his arm and got him to come here and work here. So he's been also here for over a year.
Very cool.
Plugging away. Yeah, and there's another, our iPhone app guy, Gene, is supposed to be here, but his car got towed, so maybe we'll up later. And Laura,
that's not good.
Our rockstar marketing intern who came up with the snap bracelet idea, she's a Stanford B School. They just started back up, so she has classes today. Otherwise, she would be here to say hi too.
So tell me about what your week's been like.
The week has been awesome.
TechCrunch50 was this week.
It's been awesome. Yeah, we got up, we literally got like an hour and a half of sleep, the three of us the night before, getting all the servers ready, getting the homepage ready. Crashed at our friend's house up in the city. Got in line at 6:30. We got pictures of us in the dark in line at 6:30 waiting for the doors to open. Mad rush to get our booth set up. And then, I found a couple of oops things on the site. I literally spent the first 2 hours of that morning just like in putty, logging in, pushing updates and stuff. Yeah. Meanwhile, these guys started working the crowd and introducing people, grabbing people and giving them demos. And
now you guys weren't a demonstrator, right?
No, we were DemoPit. We were DemoPit. So we won the People's Choice from the DemoPit. So that's what all these chips are, basically. So we saved a bunch of the chips. Yeah. I gave these out to my team.
So you're the total dark horse.
We're the dark horse of the first day.
Although the guys who came in second, they were in the DemoPit a week ago, and they were one of the alternates.
Who's that?
Some, City Source.
Oh, okay. Oh,
City Source.
Oh, I got you. Oh, yeah. they were on the wait list or something?
Yeah, they didn't even know they were going to be a demonstrator. So.
Yeah, just reading your post about GIST and the whole decision not to or not. And we basically decided that we were going to go. When we applied for the 50 and didn't get in, we were just like, you know what, nothing's changed. And we can still get on stage if we win DemoPit. So we definitely had the goal of trying to win DemoPit, audience favorite. Yeah. We had, the bottles of water. We basically were like, what can we give people that they will take from our booth and spread around? And so bottled water was one, and then these snap bracelets these are definitely the hit of the show, like I said. Everyone loved to go back to their childhood and relive the 80s. And really just having our team there, having 5 of us there, a couple people working the booth, a couple people working the crowd, and having some people on the team that are actually extroverts and go out. I met a lot of people at DemoPit that are really awesome, but they're kind of shy and they just sit at their demo booth, and you're not going to get a lot of votes that way. So, nope. But I think at the end of the day, the star of it was the product. Yeah. So when people come by and they looked at the product, and I just, I demoed it. So
what does it mean? What did it mean to get on stage? What has anything happened in your business?
Yeah, no, definitely. You can see, actually, it's funny because we got some traffic throughout the day, but from when we went on stage, that's when the cacti graphs, you can see, because everyone's watching offline, right? And we were the last ones to present on the first day. Yeah. And so it was really from then that it took off. Yeah. And then it carried over into the second day for sure.
No, I think I twittered that I was glad I stuck it out till the last session because the last session was pretty cool.
Yeah, you said it's a must-see. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if your tweet coincides exactly with the talk and the tweet coincide with when it took off. Actually, yeah. So
very
was cool.
So tell me again, what is the tool for? Give me the little pitch that you would give people in the hallway.
Yeah. Well, basically, YourVersion is a real-time discovery engine. Real-time is a hot meme right now. And it basically goes out and finds new relevant content on an ongoing basis that's tailored to your specific interests. Okay. So it's all about personalization and recurring discovery. A lot of people talk about real-time search. Search is great. If it's like you just heard of Building 43, you don't know what that is, you type it in a search engine, that's cool. For the things that you're interested in again and again, that's where a discovery engine is better than a search engine. Yeah. And so we blend not only recency but relevance. So relevance and recency, right? That's what it's really about. Because people diss on Google because it's all about relevance, but the stuff's old. There's all these new batch of real-time search startups that are really just an AP, sitting on Twitter search API with some kind of UI, but they're not really doing any relevance. And so I think the true winner in this kind of real-time relevance space is going to be able to blend the two and have a good user experience. And that's where the usability testing really comes in.
Right.
And that's why it was really cool when Marissa Meyer basically said that the attention to detail in our UI was really obvious.
You were just telling me that in this chair over here, you had 80 people come by.
That's right, one-on-one. Yeah, I used to be the head of product management at Quicken. Yeah. And that's where I first got exposed to software usability testing. They're big believers over there. And over there they have like big labs with one-way mirrors and cameras. Here we just do it startup style. Yeah. We just bring them in, pull up a chair. I make sure they bring their own laptop so it's prototypical so they don't get hung up using other stuff, and you see how they use their browser and what they're doing. Yeah. And just run the tests and run them through. And then the cool thing is our team's so small and agile that literally that day or the next day we'll address those issues and run another usability test with a new person. And you just don't see those issues come up again. So
that's really an interesting way to develop software.
Yeah, the analogy I use is like a block of wood. You start out with this rough block of wood, and it's got all these splinters and rough edges. And each of those usability tests is like sanding it down, sanding out the rough edges, polishing it up. And so I came up with this idea 2.5 years ago. And so it's taken me a long time to work on it because I'm bootstrapped, but I'm not new to the game, so we have a head start on people as far as
how much investment's been put into
Zero.
YourVersion?
That's purely bootstrapped.
Purely so nobody's getting paid here. You guys
no. They get paid in probably 3 things. T-shirts, which we just recently got. So that's how you know you're legit. Food, which is so actually one of the Reuters guys wrote a post. I call it food equity. In the first phase, I basically just had people didn't even come over every day. They would come over one or two Saturdays or Sundays a month, my coder friends, and we would jam all day coding. And at the end of the day, I'd throw a barbecue on the deck and beers, and so I called that food equity. So
yeah, you're in your house.
This is my house.
This is your house. Yeah. This is how you start a company. Yeah.
This is how literally my commute is as short as it gets.
HP started in the garage down the street. So you're here in Palo Alto.
So it's really good. Yeah. So we've been completely bootstrapped. Haven't paid any money for any coding. Everyone's working for equity. Yeah. And it's funny because I recruited Dave and Pratap and another guy, Alex, at one meetup. There was a JavaScript meetup. I gave a 5-minute demo. They came afterwards, and there was a really good fit, and so they're members of the team now. So it's great.
So are you raising funding now?
Yeah, we're gonna go out. I want to do things in a sequential order. Like just do
that might mean you get rent money, huh?
Yeah. I would love to pay people. I would love to take us out. My wife would love that I would get us out. Yeah, I'm sure. So, so that's the plan. We got several investors that were interested as a result of that, and I've got I went to business school here at Stanford and from working in the Valley and have some contacts. So we'll go out and raise our first round, and hopefully by having bootstrapped it for so long, we'll be able to skip a seed round and go straight to a Series A.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So show it to me. What does it do?
So basically, I'm logged in as myself, and so these are my interests up here: Apple, DemoPit, Facebook, iPhone, TechCrunch50, Twitter. And so again, part of the concept, if you want to be really personally relevant, is you have to let the user type in whatever they want. And there have been other sites in the past that just you have to pick from a category, and you can't really get granular, right? Yeah. And if I want to click on all, it'll aggregate all of my interests, and then down here. YourVersion goes out and fetches content from all over the web and then organizes into content channels of news, blogs, web pages, Twitter, videos, and products. And again, you can look at all if you want. Yeah. So right now, let's just say we're looking.
Now, where does all this stuff come from?
So our technology basically goes out to a variety of RSS feeds and aggregates it, and then we do a lot of post processing. That's where the value add is, just to filter out the noise. You'd be surprised. You just get a lot of noise back, whether it's non-English characters because we're not international yet, or just stuff that's not relevant. So we apply heuristics to that. We look, as we add a data feed, we apply heuristics to that. Yeah. And so, and like I said in my talk, we built a very extensible architecture. So we didn't have the Twitter channel 4 months ago because they didn't have their search API. When they came out with their search API, it took about 4 hours to integrate it into our framework. So we're set up in a way you can just throw in a new channel. Like the MySpace people are talking to us about how they've opened up the stream, so maybe we'll look at a MySpace or Facebook thing as well.
Very cool.
So, yeah. And so basically, you know, we're on DemoPit blogs, and let's go to TechCrunch, because actually, you know what I just found right before you came?
What's that?
This whole thing about this whole thing that TechCrunch50 is not going to happen again was all just
a
joke.
No, it wasn't a joke. But
I know, but you know. So like literally right before you came, this was from 2 hours ago. VentureBeat had an article that I found here because I'm on TechCrunch50 blogs.
Yeah.
So I realized I can read Calacanis's. They have his IM here, chat and stuff. So that helped me get the latest, freshest news about TechCrunch50, which is one of my topics that I care about.
Yeah.
And then if you like that article, let me go back to it actually. If you like that article, we serve it up, you know, in our control frame here. You can always break out of the frame. We know some people want to break out sometimes, or just see what the URL is. You can always do that up here.
Yeah.
You can see what the URL is. But the reason to use our frame basically is that you can easily share via email. And you know, this is where literally a user just emailed last night and was like, this is so much easier than copying a URL, opening my email, pasting it in, typing my friends. So I just want to literally say people click so like I can send.
Now, how because Google Wave is going to try to own that use case of looking at a bunch of stuff and then emailing it around. How do you think that'll?
Well, that's just part of it. So the way I look at it is there's three interrelated benefits. So discovery is the main benefit.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about now is sharing is a second benefit that overlaps with that. So and there are plenty of companies out there that focus like they'll share this.
Yeah.
And you know, instead of everyone having all the little buttons at the bottom of their blog, it makes sense for one person just to have that. So that's what they've done. So this is a different approach, and our toolbar provides it too, where you can share anywhere. So discovery is the main benefit. Share is integral, and then bookmarking is the third one. And so it's like the Venn diagram of those three that we try to do. So there may be people that, like Delicious started out as bookmarking, and it's pretty much what it is. It's a decent bookmarking service. Hasn't really innovated in a long time, but and they tried to basically slap on a search box so you could mine that data, but the UI isn't really optimized for discovery.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that we start first with discovery, and then we realize that at the end of the day, you know, all algorithms and computers aside, people discover things through other people. So if I know you're into something, then I'll email it to you. So
no, it's interesting. This article you found, I found on Twitter a few minutes ago.
Right.
So why use a tool like this instead of just using Twitter or Facebook is another great discovery system because a feed just keeps coming to you of all your friends.
Well, one reason is this guy just wrote this article about how real-time search isn't just Twitter. I have to find it, but he wrote it's not just Twitter. So we actually are multi-source. So if you look, we have Twitter here. Yeah. You know, we're not going to replace TweetDeck, obviously. Like I use TweetDeck side by side with this.
Right.
But at the same token, we're not limited to just Twitter as a source. What we're trying to do is aggregate. So I would say the advantage we have is breadth of aggregation because we have news, blogs, web pages, Twitter, videos, products.
Yeah.
So that's really.
Now, what if you're not a geek and you're totally into quilting, for instance?
You can totally know. Someone did knitting. The coolest thing was during the day, we would invite people to add one or two of their interests. And so the tag cloud got really big and it had all kinds of random stuff. Knitting was on there. Right before my demo, I had to go and delete all the stuff that people had added because they were using my account. So yeah, let's put knitting in. You definitely know. It works for any interest, any long tail interest. It's great.
Yeah.
So, you know, here's problems with the Jekyll and Hyde pattern of knitting. I don't even know what a Jekyll and Hyde pattern is. But if you were doing one, here's one. Your little girl needs a sweater. So it's not for techies, actually. And that's one of the questions I get is, well, why would I use this instead of Google Reader?
Yeah.
And the first thing I do is, are you an engineer? And 90% of the time they say yes. And I'm like, okay, well, if you are a really technical person and you basically are willing to take the time to manage prune your garden of RSS feeds over time, great. But what I've seen, and I use Google Reader at first, I put in a couple feeds. Yeah. They work great. Then you add 10 more, and next thing you know, you got information overload. And most people are not going to go in and manually fine-tune it, and you know what I mean? And so it takes a special kind of person who wants that level of control. My counter-argument actually is, well, the reason you're subscribing to an Engadget RSS feed is because you want to know about smartphones. Yeah. Well, if all you care about is smartphones, why should you have to go figure out what the sources are? You see what I'm saying? Like you should just say smartphones and bring me the good stuff. And that's, I think, something that's going to work a lot better and easier for mainstream internet users.
So how, since you use that example, how do you figure out that's what the best feeds are to bring smartphones
Basically,
back.
this is what I was telling Paul.
Because there's a lot of noise out there.
There is. So deduplication is obviously something that's important. But beyond that, what we do, and this is what Paul Graham had asked me on the panel at the end of it, is I've basically built a system that brings people content related to their interests in a really easy to use UI that's easy to engage with. I've also given them ways to interact with that content by clicking on it to read the story, by sharing it, bookmarking it, thumbsing it up. And this is the harnessing collective intelligence part. And this is what I was saying before. The best computer out there as far as determining quality content is the human brain. And so all we're doing is aggregating the processing results of a bunch of human brains. And so if all the people on YourVersion who do knitting share and bookmark certain sites, they're not going to do that with spam sites or bad sites. They're just not gonna, right? A bot will get fooled by a link spam page. A human will look at it and go, this is link spam, and never go there again. And so that's basically, we're building a system basically that the results get better as more people use it. And even with the 800 private beta users we had before TechCrunch, we already see like the convergence of like the Apple sites. It'd be like if you did a poll of a bunch of Apple experts, it would just pretty much fall out like they would do. So it's kind of a lot like Google PageRank took advantage of all the A tags that people were putting around. That's human intelligence encapsulated in an A tag. That's right? Yeah. Oh, I'm writing a blog post about knitting. I'm going to put an A tag with knitting to this other site. We're just taking it to the next level, basically getting the users' interaction data for that stuff.
How do you make money? How do you make money with it?
So I haven't. I mainly focused on making sure the product is nailed down. What we're gonna do, the easy, obvious thing to do is just AdSense. So like if you went and Googled knitting, you would get AdWords on the right, all the knitting ads. Well, we know that you're into knitting, so right here on the right, we're gonna have Google AdSense. Yeah. And I think that compared to other sites, the click-through rates that we'll see will be a lot higher because the relevance is higher. They're personally relevant. Yeah. People don't mind ads as much if they're relevant. People just hate it when they're irrelevant. Yeah. And so I think we'll see, we'll experiment. My background is all about, I'm a technical kind of quant guy. It's all about experiment and optimization and see what works best. So that's a no-brainer out the gate. There are other sites that have also played around sponsored content. So like 1 in 20 of these results might be sponsored. It's related to knitting, but it's sponsored. It's clearly called out as sponsored. People don't mind that either. And so I think once your site gets big enough, we've already had a couple people go, hey, I got some traffic from YourVersion, like a site owner. Hey, I got some traffic from YourVersion. Who are you guys? So you start to get that where people realize that it's a great way to get a niche audience, right? So kind of like Facebook advertising, but we could like literally eventually build our own system. It's like, hey, here's the interest that our user base has. Here's the number of stories that are browsed each week on these stories, and you can go in and buy your own ads.
I'm doing more and more of my news reading on my iPhone. Are you guys working on a mobile?
We have it. No, it's out. We launched it. Yeah. See it? No, definitely. Yeah. And that's Gene, the guy whose car got towed. He is a complete rock star. He did this thing. We got approved the first time we submitted it. We didn't have to do any, because he's done like 13 apps. So yeah, let me show you.
That's because you live next to Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have tons of pull with Steve Jobs. Okay, so basically, it's the YourVersion app. You click it, and what it does, it basically has 2 main pages. It's loading. The first page was that list of interests. So let me go back to it, and then it goes. So there's my list of interests. You can see it's the same ones from the website: Apple, DemoPit, Facebook, iPhone, right? Yep. And just like on the website, I can pick a specific interest, or I can click all. So let's go TechCrunch50. And then we bring a view of stories that's optimized for the smaller screen, basically. So you can see the headline and like 2 or 3 lines of text. You can just thumb through it. You want to load 10 more, you just click 10 more. This is kind of a cooler UI even than the website. You just kind of keep going, browsing endlessly.
And can you do the sharing as well? On
sharing is not in here yet. It's the next thing we're going to add. It's very simple to add, because let me show you why. So basically, we click on that same story, Tech Founder.
Or is there a favorite or something that, so you can keep
It's going to be there. So basically, when you go, it's just we haven't done it yet because this is V1. We wanted to get it submitted in time to get approved for TechCrunch50. And actually, we've got a lot of downloads. We've got a lot of positive feedback. So there's that same article. You can see we've got a little sliver here. We're going to have the share button there, just like we did on the website. Share, bookmark, all that will be right there. It's really easy. All the back-end code is done. We just have to put the button in. And unfortunately, that little piece is the Objective-C piece, so it's a little harder than the web piece. But it's mainly just programming bandwidth.
Very nice. Is that free app?
Yeah, free. Oh, definitely, yeah. A lot of people were shocked about, they're like, how much does the site cost? And how much does the app cost? I'm like, it's free. It's consumer web. It's free. So that being said, the app has gotten a lot of interest. I'm a consumer guy. I used to be the head of product management for Quicken and product management for Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, Friendster. And consulted to a lot of consulting. So my background's consumer. A lot of enterprise people are excited because they use this for competitive intelligence. They put in their company name, their products, and the competitive products. In fact, we did a buzz meter. I don't know if you saw the buzz meter we did let me pull it up, for the demo pit, just to highlight our technology and how it can do real-time discovery. Let me go to Tuesday, for example.
Yeah.
We were tracking real time during the day how many news, blogs, and tweets they were getting.
Yeah.
You can see Chingle. So it kind of mapped a little bit with what ended up winning. Chingle won. Tiny Chat was pretty hot. So you can kind of see this was going on throughout the day.
Yeah.
And as we told the demo pit companies about it, they were signing up and finding stories that they didn't even know they had written about themselves. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then in the long run, I mean, so phase 1 is, cool content discovery engine. Phase 2 is, really harnessing collective intelligence so we have a good opinion about what's relevant. In the end, I think the reason I consulted for 2 years before I picked this idea because I just had to have an idea I was excited about versus just picking one. Yeah. And for me, it's because the long-term opportunity, the macro bet I'm playing is just the amount of information on the internet is just getting out of control. It's just growing at an exponential pace.
Yeah.
The amount of time and cognitive bandwidth we have to process it can't keep up.
No.
And so there's going to be a need for a product that knows what is Robert Scoble information preferences like, that you can then just say, you know what, in the end,
anything geeky.
If we do things right, if we do things right, it'll be like your personal information agent that's prioritizing all your incoming information and streams, and you can anything that comes at it, and that will certainly be monetizable.
Very cool. Where we find it at YourVersion.com?
Yeah, www.YourVersion.com, and the iPhone app is on the App Store. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Robert.